All right, back for another non-alcoholic beer review. And the beer I'm reviewing today, once again, comes from the Deschutes Brewery, and they are out of Bend, Oregon. And this is their Black Butte Non-Alcoholic Porter. So this is a non-alcoholic American porter that comes in at less than 0.5% alcohol by volume, 30 IBUs at the time of review, and this can is just over 4 months old. So recently here in New York State, along with a couple other states in the northeastern / New England region of the US, started getting distribution of Deschutes beers, and it's awesome because I've enjoyed their beers for many years. However, in New York State, we never got distro. You'd see them in Ohio and Pennsylvania, but never here in New York State, so it's really awesome. Now, when they showed up for the first time a couple months ago, here in my area, there were 4 beers they released. Their fresh squeezed IPA and the non-alcoholic version, and their Black Butte Porter and the non-alcoholic version. Now, the other 3 beers I've already reviewed on the channel. This is the last of the 4, and I'm super pumped about it because I've mentioned this before. Deschutes Black Butte Porter, one of my favorite American porters, period. Definitely in the top 3 favorite porters of all time for me in general. So I'm curious to see what this non-alcoholic version is all about. On the side of the label here, it says, named for iconic Black Butte, this malt brew delivers a balanced drinkability with notes of chocolate and light roasted coffee. It's so similar to the flagship original, you'll be surprised it's not. And I've heard from a couple friends of mine and viewers of the channel that this one does come close to replicating regular Black Butte Porter. So I'm really curious to see what this one's all about. And I just so happen to have a can of the regular off camera. Now, we're not going to do like a strict comparison of these two or like a side by side, but I want to see if what they're saying is true. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this beer over here. We're going to pour them both, but I'm going to review this. Then I'm going to go back to this and compare it because I don't think it's fair to do like a strict side by side. I kind of want to review this one on its own merits. Now, the ingredients are somewhat similar, some differences if you look on their website, and also with this beer, it is also 30 IBUs just like the base. So, they're keeping it kind of similar from that aspect, which is really cool. So we're going to give it a nice pour here into the glass. Man, that looks like a beautiful beer. A little bit cheat. All right. A little bit of a cheat. So, pour that one. We'll rip this one open, give it a pour as well. Now, I reviewed this one late last year in 2023. I picked it up at in Erie, Pennsylvania. I went and got some beers for the 10 Days of Pumpkin, and I haven't reviewed this one, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to get it, and I did. All right, actually, the little cheats there, very similar. I'm just going to throw this off camera along with this. We'll show you what they look side by side, how they look real quick. Honestly, they look very similar, almost identical. So yeah, I'm going to throw the regular off camera here. And what I'm going to do is show you the beauty of this. This might be one of the best looking non-alcoholic beers. Now, there's some condensation. I kept this one, or I threw this one in my dark beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit, but it is warm out, so it is what it is. But this has a very dark brown color. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, this kind of looks like root beer, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, any kind of like soda pop in that realm. Has just over a finger of this straight on khaki colored head. Almost like a toffee color, maybe not as dark. Good glass lacing, and I haven't even taken a sip. It's kind of hanging around on the edges. Yeah, it looks really nice. Not a great clarity, obviously, because it is a darker beer. So it looks exactly what I picture this beer looking like because it looks like the base beer. Let's get a nose. Wow. So they do mention on the side, and I think on that label too, they talk about tasting notes, but I've already reviewed this one, so I don't know what it tastes like. It says, notes of chocolate and light roasted coffee. Yes, this has mocha vibes in the nose. And I would say the chocolate's like a sweeter milk chocolate. Like, it definitely is sweeter, like a sweet cocoa powder. But then you get a little bit of like light roasted coffee, generic kind of roasted malt quality. Maybe a touch of like a caramel or toffee. There's also a little bit of a touch of like a nondescript dark fruit, like a dark, we'd say, I would say like a dark dried fruit. And the one thing I've always enjoyed about Black Butte Porter and some of the other better American porters like Great Lakes, Edmonds, Fitzgerald is they have a bitterness to them. They have a hop character to them. In the nose here, I'm getting a little bit like an earthy, yeah, I'd say kind of like an earthy floral kind of note. But it definitely has a little bit of a hop influence despite being just over 4 months old. Now, that's the one thing about these beers. They're not super fresh. When they showed up, they were already over a couple months old. Well, this one was. That one was like maybe like That might have been like 6 weeks old and this was like 10 weeks old, but whatever. It's not a huge deal for the style, but I would like a little fresher. But just over 4 months old, and the base one, when I do the comparison, that's just over a month old. They're exactly a month apart. Yeah, this smells... Listen, I've said this before. The last non-alcoholic beer that I reviewed was from Go Brewing. Their, what was it? Their Street Creds After Hour, which was like a vanilla porter, non-alcoholic vanilla porter. And I said, that might be one of the best nose. No, this is one of the best noses when it's come to non-alcoholic beer in general. It kind of smells like a regular beer. There's no real indication that this is non-alcoholic. It smells fucking awesome. Please taste similar to a regular beer. It's so tough for these companies to make a non-alcoholic beer taste like a regular beer, and I just hope they do it. Cheers, everyone. Okay. Kudos to you, Deschutes. Wow. I don't know how they do it, but the body on this is almost as good as the base. The base, I always say, is like medium touch over medium. This is kind of in that realm. It's like medium body. It has a viscosity for a beer that would be in like the, say, 5.5, 6, even 7% range, but it's less than 0.5 ABV. Impressive. The mouthfeel, very akin to the regular Black Butte Porter, where it has a good carbonation, like a moderate, almost approaching moderate carbonation, but it's smooth and creamy on the palate. Body and mouthfeel, best two bodies and mouthfeels I've had of a non-alcoholic beer, hands down, off of those first 2 sips. We'll go one more, just make sure I'm not bullshitting. That is so fucking impressive. Like, I am blown away. Because I didn't think their fresh squeeze non-alcoholic IPA compared to the regular fresh squeeze IPA, I think it was kind of a miss for what I was looking for out of the beer. Like, they didn't really have a ton of similarities. It was still solid for a non-alcoholic IPA, but it didn't taste like a regular. We're going to see in a moment, but based on my memory, this tastes very akin to a regular Black Butte. There are some, indications that it might be non-alcoholic or maybe not exactly to that level, but it's fucking close. So, taste. At the forefront, that mocha vibe. It's like a light roasted coffee, like they say on the can, with a sweet cocoa powder. So it gives me mocha vibes. There's a little bit of like a generic roasted malt character. After that, I get a touch of like a dried fruit. I'm saying more in like the fig, date, raisin kind of realm. It's not too big, but it's noticeable, maybe even like a sweet cherry. And then as it finishes on the palate, there's a roastiness that kind of hits on the back of the palate. Right? Like it's like the roasted malt specifically dove underneath the palate, hit me on the back of the palate, or the perceived roasted malt. And it also has a nice earthy floral kind of hop character. This finishes mild to moderately bitter. I'm saying more approaching moderate, but there is a little bit of like almost a slight resin character on my palate. This is full on dry. It's not overly sweet. Some of these kind of taste like a soda pop, especially like the non-alcoholic beers that are going for like, a lower ABV lager or something like that. They kind of taste a little sweeter and whatnot. This doesn't have a huge rich sweetness, which is nice. It's very well balanced, and this might be the best non-alcoholic beer I've had to date. That's fucking like super impressive. I'm gonna wait on a rating. And that's because I want to compare it. I want to compare it to its alcoholic counterpart, which again, I say this is one of the best American porters out there. We'll see. Nose. Okay, so the richness of this one in the nose, the intensity. Yeah, it's kind of everything you get in this one, but a little bit ramped up. It's like the chocolate's not as sweet. It's more like a sweeter dark chocolate. The coffee is more like a medium roast. There's more intensity to the roasted malt, and the hop character is the thing that's a little bit bigger here. Now, keep in mind, this is also a this beer right here is also a what you call a month fresher, but it smells really similar. Yeah, it has that floral kind of earthiness on the finish, that dark fruits there. Everything just intensified. It's like you intensified everything by like 20%. That's kind of what this beer is in comparison to that. So, yeah. Anyway, let me take a sip of this one real quick. Wow. Okay. All right. The body is almost spot on for this. That's amazing to me. This is like medium a touch over. This is like straight on medium, maybe a slightly under, but like right around, it's like so close. But the mouthfeel, moderately carbonated, a little bit more carbonation here. However, the smooth, creamy sensation on the palate is definitely noticeable in both beers. But the taste, I'll say it again, this beer is very reminiscent of the base regular beer, just with everything dialed back about 20%, which I am okay with if you're saying, hey, there's no alcohol in here. That's amazing. Let me go back to that, take a sip of that, and then go back, and then we'll see. Wow. This is the first time that I've actually drank a non-alcoholic beer, and I could say this could be mistaken for an actual regular beer, 100%. This and maybe like Just a Haze from Sam Adams. Probably one of the better hop-forward beers I've had. There's something about this specifically that I just really enjoy. I'm going to put the base off camera because I don't want to drink anymore. Also, no cuvee, because there's no point. I'm just going to fucking dilute it. It doesn't make any sense. So Rainier Prairie or whoever else would be like, you missed an opportunity. No, I did. There's no opportunity here other than to ruin the beer. Anyway, yeah, this is fucking, this beer right here, non-alcoholic American Porter, Black Butte Non-Alcoholic Porter. This is fucking one of the best non-alcoholic beers, if not the best non-alcoholic beer I've had. I gave Black Butte, when I reviewed it, a low 4 or 5. And that's kind of where like Edmund Fitzgerald lands. That's where Black Butte Porter lands. That's where something, even maybe Smutty Nose Robust Porter, a little bit under those. Anchor Porter was a little bit under those. Founders Porter would be in that realm. I have to give this brownie points for being non-alcoholic beer. So I'll tell you right now, for a non-alcoholic beer, what I'm drinking and my enjoyability factor, whatever you want to call it, this is without question a 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, I just gave a non-alcoholic beer a 4.5 out of 5. What the fuck am I doing? I don't know. But this is fantastic, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to buy a 6-pack of this and throw it in my fridge. When I want something that's lower calories, lower ABV, and just want to chill, I will be drinking the shit out of this. This is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. If you are trying to get into non-alcoholic beers and you like porters and American Porter with a little bit more like, you know, a little bitterness, good balance, awesome body and mouthfeel, fucking pick this. This is amazing. Congratulations, Deschutes, because this is, I wish all non-alcoholic beer tastes like this. This is just fucking phenomenal. And maybe you'll have a different experience. Maybe you won't. I just think doing the side-by-side comparison really speaks to me the quality of this beer. It speaks how good this beer is. It's amazing because I've done that with, like, a lot of people say get a 0.0, Heineken 0.0, and some other beers. Oh yeah, they're very similar to the base. And then I do the side-by-side. I'm like, if you're drinking it alone, I could see it, but then you put them side-by-side, not really. That's what I thought was going to happen here, but I put them side by side. I'm telling you right now, it's very close. This is about 80%, 85% of what that beer is, and I'm fine with that. One more sip, make sure I'm not fucking up here with this 4.5. Nope. I will say, that sip right there, and maybe as it warms up a little bit, there is a little bit of a slight non-alcoholic astringency. I don't know what that is, but there's just like this twang on the back of the palate where it's like, you know, it's not non-alcoholic. Even so, I think the fucking beer is phenomenal for what they're going for. Price point availability, this is where it loses a lot of people, especially when it comes to non-alcoholic beers. They, you know, people don't want to pay as much or more for something that just strips down the alcohol. So I get it, but this is $13.99 a 4-pack on their website. That's what the price was here in the Western New York area. The regular one can be anywhere from like 10 to 12 bucks depending upon where you shop. I think here it's $10.99. So I'm paying literally $3 more a 6-pack for something that is non-alcoholic or close to it. I get it. However, we've talked about this before. What they have to do to make it non-alcoholic, I get it. Like what they have to do to get it to this level, it tastes very similar to the original. They've done a great job. So I wouldn't mind paying that to have it in my fridge every now and then, but I totally get why people don't buy it. But, you know, most of the athletic beers are kind of in that realm as well. So, you know, it is what it is. And availability, well, I just know here in New York State, we get Deschutes now. We get this. I don't know if they do have a beer finder on their website, so go check it out. Like I said, they're into some other New England regions. I want to say Bumpyisms, Jesse. Go check him out. Great dude. Awesome channel. I think he's starting to see Deschutes as well. He's in New Hampshire. So I think there are some New England region states that are getting their stuff and some others in the Northeast. So if you get your hands on Deschutes and you haven't tried this one out and you like non-alcoholic beers, give it a go. That's what that would be my recommendation. But who am I? I'm just a nerd on fucking YouTube reviewing beer like a dumbass, and that's what we do here. So anyway, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Like I said, 0.5%. You can't taste it because there is none in here, basically. But yeah, congratulations. Good job to Deschutes. I hope I can review and taste more non-alcoholic beer that kind of replicate a normal beer to some degree, because a lot of this is referred to as near beer. This is near beer, but it's damn near beer, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.